Beyond the Mic with Sean Dillon.
We're joined on the Starline by a Golden Globe and Emmy Award winner, a respected veteran of Canadian TV, executive producer, and showrunner of CW's Children Ruin Everything. We welcome husband and father to Henry, Sadie, and Freya, Kurt Smeaton.
Hi, Sean. How's it going?
Absolutely great, Kurt. Let's go beyond the mic. What makes Children Ruin Everything fun for you?
It's a great exploration of all the fun and crazy ways that kids interrupt your life. You know, when I became a dad, there's the regular stuff of like, where are my kids? What's happening in the backyard? To like, why is there yogurt on the dog? Why is there a shoe in the microwave? You know, all these amazing little moments that happen when you have kids that I thought were so fun and funny. I wanted to bring to the screen, and we have such a great time doing it.
I have rules in my household. Don't paint the dog, don't set the dog on fire, and do not feed the dog alcohol. I'm not going to say my kids violated these rules, but the rules do exist. How many situations did you pull from your own family as experiences for the show?
Oh, those rules have been maybe broken, is what you're saying. Yeah, there's been there's absolutely, a lot of stuff that comes from my own life. I give my wife every script to read just to be like, is this okay? Can I say this about us? But also the other writers in the room are our parents for the most part, and we draw from our experiences, from our friends' experiences, and some stuff that just sort of makes sense for the characters. But there is, I feel like a big part of my life, certainly in the first season, with deciding whether or not to have a third kid. When I pitched this show and first started developing it, I only had 2 kids, and by the time I got to the green light, I had 3. So that storyline in the first season is hits pretty close to home for me.
Kurt, what's the one thing that makes the Children Ruin Everything team so special for you?
Yeah, that's a great point. I think there's a lot of parents who connect with the show, who work on the show, but it really comes down to I have such a great cast, Sean. They have such great chemistry. And I'll tell you something, when we shot, the first thing that we shot was an episode that was about a road trip, and the whole episode takes place in the car. And so the very first thing the 4 actors in the family did was get into this rig, and we're driving around. They're stuck in the car all day. They can't go to their phones between takes and head off. So they really got to know each other on that first day, and they became kind of like a family unit. They really care about each other. They play cards on set. They hang out together. They really do love each other. And I think that chemistry really shows on the television show.
Children Ruin Everything is on the CW, and its showrunner and executive producer, Kurt Smeaton, joins us beyond the mic for the Rockin' 8. Kurt, all this is 8 random questions. Answer with the first thing that comes to your mind. There is no pressure.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna give you great answers.
Favorite pitch from your show, Men with Brooms?
Favorite pitch from my show, Men with Brooms, was what if we go back in time and see how these guys got into curling? I know it's a boring one, but that was my favorite pitch.
Sometimes that happens. What's the last book you read for pleasure?
I got back into Freakonomics. I picked up that book again, that air book, because I'm listening to this a podcast called If Books Could Kill, and they just rip that book apart. They really make fun of it, so I had to read it again. See what they were up to.
How about your favorite thing from craft services?
Oh man, I balloon when we get into production. But I'm a classic, just a Rice Krispie square. I like a Rice Krispie square and a coffee.
Vacation place you never wanted to leave?
The family last year went to Joshua Tree in California, and we had an amazing time there. It's beautiful, it's unique, and we could have stayed forever.
What's the best and worst prompt you ever put in to an AI generator?
Great question. Controversial question, Sean. I would say best prompt would be, what would a forest ranger look like if they were also a karate expert? I got an incredible image back. It was really, really good. Worst prompt was write a show called Children Ruin Everything, because it gave me an outline that was not far off my show.
Fish or birds?
Birds.
Best Metallica song?
It's Sandman.
Sometimes friends have different opinions. First trophy you won growing up?
I was deep into sports. I played lacrosse and track, but it was definitely a hockey trophy. And I'll tell you what it is. It was most improved player when I was 6 years old.
Let's sneak in one more. Kurt, what's the one series you worked on that didn't get the love you thought it deserved? And if you could, you'd make it today.
Yeah, great question. So good. Yeah, there's a show I worked on with I know the Kids in the Hall got some love in the U.S. and Bruce McCullough from the sketch show Kids in the Hall made a show up here called Young Drunk Punk about his time growing up in the 80s in Calgary. And I thought it was a really funny show with a great cast. And it just, it was kind of this weird thing where two networks owned it and neither wanted to foot the bill for the second season. And it fell apart, but I thought that show was great. And yes, I would make it with the same cast.
It's time for One Big Question with the showrunner of Children Ruin Everything, executive producer, our friend Kurt Smeaton beyond the mic. Kurt, AI, will it kill Hollywood?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's who knows where this technology can and will go, but I don't right now think it's that the Hollywood creatives are in too much trouble. What I would be concerned about is like Netflix having an AI and they hire a writer who is not a creator, but Netflix comes up with a prompt and Netflix has made this show about a cowboy in space that befriends a dog alien, and they have sort of a little outline, and then a writer is hired to make that work. And all of a sudden, that showrunner status, that creative control is in the hands of the network rather than the writer who's doing all the work. That's the nightmare scenario for me. But in terms of like creating human situations that people relate to, I don't know that you can beat people in a room, talking about their lives and talking about what's funny, and what's interesting to them, and creating the scenarios that help sort of shed light on those scenarios. I just don't think that writers can be beat.
Kurt Smeaton is rereading Freakonomics, loves Rice Krispie squares, and wouldn't ever leave Joshua Tree if you didn't have to. Children Ruin Everything is on the CW and the CW app. Kurt, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today.
John, thank you so much. Have a good day.
And that, my friends, is a Beyond the Mic shortcut. If you're enjoying these conversations, please check out another Beyond the Mic episode to find more actors, artists, and people you need to know. We'd also appreciate a like and subscribe on the Good Pods app.